Always great chatting with the general, the man behind Extreme Couture. Of course, he's going to be in the corner of Sean Strickland, who defends his middleweight title at UFC 297, January 20th. It's right around the corner. It's Eric Nicksick joining me here on the program. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well, James. How are you, brother?
I'm doing awesome. Where am I getting you right now? You got kind of a cool background. Are you at home?
I'm at home. This is I'm in the dining room right now. So usually I'll do it at the gym, but we did some training this morning. Me and Strickland went over to work with some of the special response team guys for Metro over at their training.
Cool.
So it was pretty cool, man. Headed out there this morning, then home, and then we're off to practice at 3:30.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Let's start with Strickland right there. Obviously, big card headlining it for UFC 297. Was this the right amount of time off for him in between fights? Because I know we spoke right after he won the title. There's a few things up in the air as far as when he'd be fighting again. But from a coaching perspective, was this a good gap between the Izzy fight and this one?
Oh, it's a great gap. He had just a couple minor little injuries, like things you get out of a fight. It wasn't anything too crazy at all, and he was right back in the room training again. I would say like week and a half, 2 weeks right after. So, and that was just him being a good teammate. We had guys that had fights were coming up, so he wanted to make sure he was available and there for them. But, that mentality's always allowed us to take those somewhat short notice fights, if you will. So, he was right back in the gym ready to go. So the timeline's perfect for us.
Did you always feel it was going to be Dricus? Because there was some uncertainty, maybe Chimaev. I know that's probably more a management question, but was it your understanding that Dricus was sort of the leading candidate?
No, you would have to assume Dricus or Khamzat were 1A and 1B, with Izzy saying that he was going to take a little bit of time off, So didn't matter to us. I think both were very deserving in the position that they were in. I thought it was going to be Khamzat after the Usman fight, but I think he came away with an injury that might have pushed him back. So, Dricus was the next guy in line, and deservedly so. I think he deserves that title shot.
How much from sort of your perspective, the fact that you've already coached against Dricus already with Brad Tavares, how much does that help you? I know Sean's a different fighter, but still you sort of have, kind of the outline of what you're working with here as far as an opponent.
Yeah, it helps me a ton. And it's helped in the past. It's helped me a ton as well. Just as far as a baseline of breaking down tape, the opponent, obviously stays the same, but like you said, the fighters are different in the regards of the approach. So, it does help quite a bit. But again, like your approach is going to be quite different when it comes to Sean Strickland versus Brad Tavares and the skill set wise. And then I also feel like Dricus has gotten a lot better since he's fought in Brad, and it's added some different tools to his game. So it's definitely going to be a chess match for me, but that's what I enjoy the most.
Have you brought anyone in specifically for Du Plessis as an opponent, or is it just sort of business as usual? Tell me how camp has been structured for this fight.
We haven't really brought anyone in per se, and it's very hard to find somebody I think that can emulate what Dricus does, because Dricus, I think, is more of a kind of fly by the seat of your pants with what he sees in front of him. Like he's more of a vision athlete, where he reminds me a lot of like Elias Theodorou, like in ways where punches come from different angles. He's kind of erratic. And those are the things like when Brad and I sat down with Sean, it was like almost when Brad fought Elias, it was just really hard to find a rhythm and timing of him. But he's also a juggernaut. Like when he wants to go forward, he's going forward. He does hit hard. I think he has. I feel like the cardio thing was kind of I don't even know like the word, but like I didn't feel like it was fair the way that people would attack his cardio, because whether he was tired or not, the dude was always still fighting, and he was always coming very hard to finish the fight. So I don't really play a whole lot into that either, but I know that Sean is a guy that when he can push a 5-round pace, he can drag guys into deep waters. It's very different for a lot of people.
How's he looking in camp? I know Sean's in the gym all the time. Big first title defense, right? So a big fight for him.
Oh, he's been looking great. And, that's the main thing, is just kind of, I guess, making sure that he's not going like full bore right away and trying to kill everybody and spar 3-4 times a week. Almost like easing ourselves into camp, because we do have a lot of time. It's January 20th. We do have ourselves a lot of time, but that time does creep up on you fast as well. So the nice thing is that he's already kind of in camp shape already before camp started, so that always is helpful when it comes to a guy like Sean Strickland. Whereas some fighters, they get themselves so far out of shape and out of camp where like you spend the better beginning of camp just getting them right back into shape. So it's we're right where we need to be, and I'm really excited for him. So he's been looking good.
Who's he mainly been working with as far as training partners?
I mean, everybody in the gym, and now Ankalaev is back. So Ankalaev's
Oh,
first
nice.
week would be this week, and Ankalaev brings the best out of Sean. He really does. But we have the normal cast of characters. We have Alex Polizzi, who comes in and helps a lot with, especially with our wrestling. Edmund Shabazian, Brad Tavares has been giving him rounds. Chris Curtis is giving him rounds. So and then of course, like Danny's been helping out with the coaching, maybe giving him rounds here or there. But Sam Alvey's been in the gym because Sam Alvey's doing the karate combat. So he was sparring some rounds with Sam Alvey this week, and I was like, damn, actually, Sam's actually a pretty good look, So Sam might come out and help us some as well. But no, everybody in the gym, and we have so many good 185ers in the room, and then each one of them pushes each other, so it's easy to have good training partners.
And how do you deal with the holidays as well? Because I'm sure some guys will be taking off, going to see family. Like, have you sort of prepped that ahead of time? And because I'm sure Sean still wants to get some work in, during the holidays, while some fighters might be taking some time off.
Honestly, James, there's not really a holiday for us. We'll practice as usual. So I think Christmas is on Monday. I'll have my Christmas morning with my family, and I'll be running practice that day. And I expect most of the team to be there anyway. Thanksgiving, we usually have 20, 30 guys there sparring. We don't really have a holiday. I think that's what we have to understand in our positions that we're in is, there's really no day off when it comes to the fight game. And, and if guys are taking days off, it's good because then it means we get to stretch our lead on
them. Is there any sort of idea when you're going to be getting into Toronto? Like, I know some guys like to get there a bit early. It's a bit of a flight, right? Like 5 hours or something like that, I'm assuming, from around there. So when are you guys getting in?
Sean's going to fly in Sunday, and then I fly in Monday with Chris Curtis. So I would have flown in with Sean, but I think he actually was jumping on a day ahead, which I didn't mind. I was going to go with him one way or another. So Chris and I will fly out Monday so that we'll be there for the check-in day on Tuesday.
Must be cool for both of them to be on the same card, right? Because they're like a tandem, the two of them, him and Curtis.
Oh yeah, that's the best. They're just all day long, those two.
Does it make it easier as a coach too, having two guys on the same card? Like you're not, again, because it's all in one spot. I know, obviously, and their fights are a bit separate, where it's not like you're gonna have to like corner back to back or anything, right?
Yeah, it is. It is nice, and I just enjoy the camaraderie and just having a good group of coaches that are out there and teammates that are out there. So Chris will have Coach Nate with him, myself, Danny Davis, and then Sean, and then we're gonna bring Edmund and Alex Polizzi out with us as well. So yeah, it'll be a fun crew, and that's part of the thing I enjoy the most about even the fight game is when you're out with the boys and the teams, and you're getting out there and going, the fight weeks and the experience is anything. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Without giving away the game plan, early prediction on the fight and the title fight, how do you see it going with Sean and Dricus?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of setting a precedent on the pace, right? I feel like Dricus is going to come out hard and heavy and fast right away, and we're going to have to kind of manage that pace in the first couple rounds. And then once Sean gets into the fight, then I think that's when Sean's really going to be able to take over. But I expect it to be a barn burner, man. Both of these guys are right where they belong. And I was always told by Randy, it's something I always look at is that the hardest fight of your career is your first title defense. So it's going to be up to us to make sure we're on our P's and Q's and go out there and defend this belt.
What's going on with Francis? Obviously amazing what happened in that fight with Fury and everything that he's done. Opened up a lot of doors. Do you expect him to be boxing next or taking an MMA fight? What's the latest with him?
Who knows, man? Like the world is his right now. So he was home. He actually came to practice. What was it? Last Tuesday. So he was at practice. We chopped it up a little bit, and then he went back home for the holidays. So it's all still kind of up in the air. We have some ideas on what we want to do, and really for him, it's just whatever best option becomes available. We talked about what the landscape of PFL looks like for us, and Renan Ferreira. We looked at. What it might be if it's Wilder, if there's this mixed rules fight. So there's a couple options out there, and like I told him, man, I was like, if we can get Wilder in an MMA scenario and then fight him in boxing, I think that's the best case scenario. That'd be pretty fun. But again, like these guys know what they're doing, and I'm along for the ride. Just tell me where to be.
Any other guys you got coming up that are competing? I mean, obviously every week it seems like you have someone competing, but who are some, maybe notable names people that might know that have fights coming up that you're working with leading into the new year?
Yeah, so I have Casey O'Neill this week. She'll be fighting Ariane Lipsky. Yeah, she'll be on the card for this week, and then we have a little bit of time off. Then I'll have Manel Kopp will be fighting Matthias Nikolai in the rematch. And then we'll have Dan Ige. We'll have Brad Tavares on the same card. We have Roman Dolidze main eventing. And then obviously the Toronto card that we covered. And then hopefully headed out to Mexico City as well with Zell Huber sometime in February as well. So, yeah, we've got a lot of guys, up-and-coming guys. And then we got the local guys, too, as well. Puni Pagoa will be fighting this Friday for LFA. So looking forward. That's a kid you got to keep an eye on, man. Like, you guys talk about the prospects. Puni Pagoa, man, put bookmark that kid. Watch him. He's
I will. I'll tell you. Listen, if anyone I'm going to listen to, it'll be you for sure. So when it comes to that, you seem to know a thing or two about fighting. PFL buying Bellator. How much has that impacted the fighters? Because I was just talking to Grant Dawson before he hopped on here. He's really worried because obviously it's cool to see PFL kind of expand their brand, but ultimately it's going to mean less opportunities, you would think, for other fighters.
Man, I'm still like the jury's still out. We don't know what's what yet, but I will say I was very disappointed to see them match up Pitbull and Pineda, I believe his name is the PFL.
Pinedo, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Jeremy Kennedy, where's his title shot?
That's exactly right, man. We haven't fought since February. Jeremy went out and did the job that he was supposed to do, and now we've been sitting on the sidelines since February. And he's a guy that just continuously work hard. He's just what every champion's built out of and made from, and he deserves that opportunity to fight for a title. So I'm looking forward to see what they do. I feel like it gives a lot more options for the fighters, and I hope that that's the case. But let's get the right guys in there that deserve the title shots to fight first, and go out there and show what they can do.
Other than Christmas morning, do you got anything else planned for the holidays?
No, my daughter's 16th birthday is on Thursday, so we got the MMA awards that day and that night, and then it's her 16th birthday. So you're gonna go out and go car shopping here soon and doing all that fun stuff. Yeah. So
interesting. I was gonna say, that's a big moment though. You must feel cool to be able to get the car for your daughter.
Yeah, well, definitely helps when Francis takes good care of you. So it was one of those things where it just means a lot when your fighters care for you the way that they do. And Francis put my family in a very good position financially and helped us all out a ton. So, wouldn't be here without him. And just a lot of love around the family for what not only Francis, but, everybody, all the fighters, Dan and Sean and all the guys that take good care of us. We had a great year. So I'm able to afford to go out and get her a nice car for her birthday.
And more to come here, UFC 297, January 20th. Looking forward to it in Toronto. Coach, thanks so much for doing this. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? As always, I'll give you the last word.
No, I just want to give a shout out to my girl, Maria, beating cancer, man. She should be home soon. So we just couldn't be more proud of her and can't wait to get her home.